way that he's saying it, I can see what he's saying when he's saying a temple to a God.
Okay.
But I can also see it saying, hold up, it can only be three things though.
Let him finish, Carl. Carl, let the man finish. He ain't hardly said nothing. He read for you. He done read for you. He ain't hardly said nothing. Let him finish.
Hold up, let me finish this. Go ahead. They want to hear you. I mean, the point I was going to make was a man can, even though they're not Israelites and they cannot build the temple. I know that. All of us know that on this phone. But who's to say that them thinking that they're going to make the temple to the true and living God, but they don't have the understanding that they are the ones who cannot make this temple, but only the true Israelites can build this temple, which are the Levites. The Levites were the ones responsible for doing it. But with them doing it, how would it knock them from doing it to the true and living God, but at the same time, like in their mind frame, they think that they're doing it a just thing. Like they think that they're doing a just thing, but we know that it's not a just thing because the book tells us different about him trying to pick up that office and do it. It's wrong. It's just like the Roman Catholic Church trying to pick up the Levitical priesthood. But it's wrong for them to try and do because it wasn't given to them, but the children of Israel, the Levites. But that's how them standing there and saying, okay, we gonna dedicate this to.
Yo, Kevin. Hey, Kevin.
Hold on, we gonna dedicate this to, and we gonna dedicate this to. I know who they talking about, but do they understand that they can't do this? Whether or not they understand it or not, they still doing this thing.
But see, Kevin,
if y'all understand what I'm trying to say.
I understand it. I agree with you. Period. I agree with everything you just said. And in everything you just said, you just made my point. The Pope of Rome and them are sitting over in Rome with a priesthood that's fashioned, and they actually think they are carrying on the Levitical priesthood. So if we seen anything written in the letters, like when it talk about Levi in Hebrews or in Ezekiel, me, you, Carl, nobody would think that anywhere when they wrote the Levites would be in the temple, that would be referring to the Catholic priesthood, who is an imitation. They can never be the Levitical priesthood. These people trying to build something and call it the temple, yeah, I agree with everything you said, Carl. They got a mind. They think that they doing the work of God. They think they are the true flesh and blood Jews, all of this stuff. But we know scripturally it don't add up. So the scripture would not refer to what they're building as the temple of God. That's my whole point. Just like it wouldn't refer to the Catholic Church priesthood as the Levitical priesthood.
But that's you saying that when it say this, it's saying the actual God of Israel, Jesus. And if they building it to Jesus, it might not be accepted by you as the temple of God, and it might not even be accepted by him as the temple of God. But it's accepted in their mind from like what he was saying, and that's the key point to it all, that these people think they doing a godly thing. And if you saying you don't know where it's at in the scriptures, where they gonna be persecuting us, killing us, doing all these things.
No. I never said none of that.
God, hold up. You think they doing these things unto God, then you saying that scripture is not true, because what they doing, they think they doing unto God.
No, Carl.
And that's why this is the temple to God, but who's to say it's the God of Israel?
Brother Carl.
This is modern day history. We can read what these people are doing this, but you said you can agree they doing it, but it's not the temple of God, and that's your only out in it.
No.
It's the temple of God, and you saying what Paul said, temple of God, so therefore this must mean that he's talking about the people.
What I'm saying is, hey Carl, Let every matter be established by 2 or 3 witnesses. At the end of 2 Corinthians, Paul told the people, he said, I am writing unto you. Now, we call it, now check this, just for the mind's sake. We call 2 Corinthians because that's what is written in our Bibles. But if you read 2 Corinthians, at the end of it, Paul said, I am writing unto you this 3rd time. We call it 2 Corinthians because the people labeled it 2 Corinthians. Cool. Okay. But Paul, wait, hold on. Please let me finish, because please don't, because I'm not, just because I said that don't mean my point is finished. In the book, when you read it, you understand that that was actually the 3rd time Paul wrote. And he said, in me writing to y'all this 3rd time, he said, I am witnessing and establishing this point. He said, because it is written, let every matter be established by 2 or 3 witnesses. So what he was letting you know is, a lot of people take that in the law to mean if someone do evil, you need 2 or 3 people to establish they did evil. It do mean that, but then going deeper than that, if you say something 2 or 3 times, you have established what you believe. What I'm saying is that Paul wrote 3 separate times in other letters that the temple of God is the people. That's already established in his mind. So when he write a 4th letter to another church, you telling me that he referring to the temple of God to be something else now. You have to prove that. I don't, because he done proved it in other letters what he think the temple of God is. And that's all I can say.
When you go to it's the thing when you go to Matthew and Mark. It says him standing in the holy place of where he ought not, meaning Jerusalem or the temple, either one. And if it ain't no temple, then you have to watch out if a man, because he said, if they say, lo, Christ is here, or Christ is there, don't go there. Why don't go there? Because Jesus gonna come in the sky, gonna split it, you gonna see him just like the sun rise everywhere, and everybody see it every day, you gonna see Jesus coming back. But if they tell you Jesus is somewhere in a secret chamber or in a place, believe it not. So if this man of sin is in a secret chamber or a secret place, which I'm tying in with the abomination of desolation, but you don't want to hear that like you're saying. I don't want to hear.
No, I hear it.
You know what I'm saying?
You said it. I heard you.
Right. So this is what it boils down to. That, like I said, you will have to show what you're saying you showed.
Look.
Now, question real quick. Hold up. Let me finish this point. That you saying this is the temple of God, and I'm saying you have to look at it in a lot of different ways. And we deferred talking about it, and we just talking about it now. But we could have had the whole show on this. So, I mean, if what I was doing earlier was wasting time, because I was really getting to a point, and I was laying a lot on the table, which it is a lot. But that's how much got to be dealt with. So I'm gonna finish dealing with it tomorrow. You ain't gotta be here. You can be here. So the last one to ask a question now, and I'll finish my point up tomorrow. And it's archival, so people can archive it and deal with what I'm gonna lay out tomorrow. Go ahead and okay, I just wanted to ask. Now, I understand what y'all saying about the different the 2 or 3 witnesses all matters are established. That how he came to different these different groups of Gentiles and these different people and telling them that the temple of God is the body. Now, would he be saying that to the Thessalonians? Like they already knew that he talked to them about future prophecy. What if he ain't talking to them about the same subject that he needs to talk to the other 3 groups? Because these guys, they might not be on that level. He might be trying to tell them something. Well, let me tell y'all that y'all make it the temple of God if y'all righteous and holy. But then he could be telling the Thessalonians, well, the temple is the temple of God, and this end times is going to be a place that this man of sin going to move from. I'm just posing that question.
Yeah, it's Elijah. I would say this: anything is possible, but what I'm trying not to do is I'm not trying to make up the. I'm not trying. Put it like this: 2 Thessalonians does not establish that a temple will be built in the last days. It don't establish that. It don't. I know everyone like to say it do, just like you know, if in Carl's mind or in whoever's mind, if the temple of God to you is like that, you know what that mean? A temple got to be built, you know, because that man of sin got to go stand in it. I understand that, but me going off that same apostle, I'm convinced that the temple of God, that the man of sin would show himself he is God as God sitteth in that temple.